Hey, Comic Crack back with a 3-part video on some Canadian cartoonists. Not in the superhero vein, more alternative, underground, adult, and just a word of warning, the first 2 videos should be relatively safe. The third one on Robin Bougie will definitely be an adults only one, but just wanted to let you know that if you watch this kind of thing at work, these ones you might not want to, just in case. Like I said, the first 2 should be tame enough, but I don't know what people's viewing habits are at this kind of thing, so this might be the kind of thing that you watch at home when the kids have gone to bed. Like I said, especially the third part will have a lot of adult material in it, nudity, crazy, ridiculous sex, and all sorts of nastiness. So this one we're going to start is Rick Trembles from Montreal and Robin McConnell from Vancouver. So just going to jump right into it. If you see me looking off in any of these videos off to the side, I just have some notes I've taken for each person that I'm just referring to if I forget some details. So Rick Trembles got turned on to quite a while ago. Believe his radio show that he had for a little while that was compiled on Fab Press's website, which is his publisher. And it was a movie review show. Motion Picture Purgatory is what it was called as well. They were kind of roughly 15-minute episodes with a friend of his, Michael Will. I don't know if they're still archived on Fab Press's site or on Rick's site either. I have them all that I once they were on, I was kind of following it weekly or whenever it was on, maybe it was bi-weekly, I can't remember. And I just saved them all, and I just actually have recently been listening to them again in my car. Really, really great stuff. He's a interesting guy. His interaction with his friend Michael and just the kind of dialogue they have, you can tell that they're hardcore kind of fans of some of these movies. But they're also odd characters in themselves, so it's very cool to hear them interact, you know. So Montreal Mirror is a free newspaper, and he had some comic strips in there where he was doing the same thing, comic strip format movie reviews that got compiled into 2 books. I only got my hands on the first one when it came out, when he was through town a couple of years ago now, I believe, for the Winnipeg Animation Festival. He was kind enough, first of all, to sign my copy of the book, which I was pretty excited about, so I got a chance to meet him. But I guess there was some problems with the second, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what the details were with Volume 2, whether it was there was not enough sent to him, or there was not enough made, or they had trouble shipping them to Canada. I can't remember because it's a UK company. But he didn't have any versions of the second one, and he was telling me that the only way that we can get them is going directly through Fab Press, which I just haven't done yet. So the other good thing about Rick's stuff, I mean, first of all, I really like his style of cartooning. Let me see if I can find something that's not too filled with words here, because these are pretty detailed, like dialogue-driven reviews, you know, that just kind of have panels in them as well. Let's see if I can get a good page here. Well, there we go. We'll try to see if that kind of stuff comes up. Beyond his style of animation, or cartooning rather, the amount of things that he covers in this, from like mainstream movies to, you know, like on that page I just showed you is a review for The Devil and Miss Jones and a movie called Mondo Magic. But he also does, you know, Clockwork Orange, a review of Alien, Mulholland Drive, Apocalypse Now, Ace in the Hole, Mean Streets. But then he also does, you know, Cannibal Holocaust and Citizen Toxie and This Night I'll Possess Your Corpse, and then some movies that, you know, are so kind of underground that they're not even, it's hard even to get a screening of some of these things. But that's the beauty of living in some of these cities. They happen to have a community that's really supportive, and they can get their hands on copies of some of these movies. So, you know, Edward Scissorhands' 2001 Space Odyssey. So I like the fact that he runs the gamut. So you get his opinions on a variety of topics as opposed to just doing the most obscure things. He's done some animation as well, some cartooning. There was one animation that I saw, Goopy Spasms, that was a short cartoon about his adventures in anal sex, and super dirty, and something that he was surprised when I told him that I actually saw it. He was surprised that it was something that anybody had really seen because he had such a problem distributing it. But and then he started getting into some stop motion stuff for his band. The American Devices is the name of his band. He's done a bunch of music videos for them. Yeah, just really, really good stuff. Like I said, it was great to meet him, and I'd love to see him do more animation. His style is really kind of autobiographical, just funny stories from his life that he sets into comic strips or cartoons and things. So yes, definitely keep an eye out for that guy. And next we'll talk about Robin McConnell, who is the mastermind behind the Inkstuds Radio Show that happens in Vancouver. And is archived on the internet. So this is a collection of interviews with cartoonists, featuring names like Mark Bell, Chester Brown, Rebecca Dart, Kim Deitch, the Hernandez brothers, Jeff Lemire, Francois Mouly, Gary Panter, Joe Sacco, Seth, etc., etc., etc. And same kind of thing. He's Rick Veitch, I think, is a name that he's done. I believe that was the guy's name from Swamp Thing after Animal Man. After Alan Moore, rather. Am I wrong about that? Am I right about that? Jeff Darrow, the guys from Fantagraphics, where they, discuss people like Mobius and some of the French comics. And then like I said, a lot of names that even I have no idea who they are, and some really underground kind of cartoonists and artists and things. Really, really good. It's great reading it in this form, and I really hope he keeps compiling these, because the one thing that I find with some of the interviews is the audio quality sometimes is very, very poor. So I've actually had to stop a couple episodes a couple of times just because I couldn't really make out what was going on, or their voices were recorded, especially if he goes out and does some recordings. Their voices were really quiet. The people he was interviewing are really quiet. And, but just a real nice wide gamut of stuff. So this is put out by CONUNDRUM Press, Nova Scotia. And it was put out in 2010. I'll put links to a lot of the stuff. So what you also get, the bonus of this format is you get the interview, and then you also get some samples of the cartoonist's work, which is great, because one of the things I always end up doing is when I'm listening to them on the internet, I have another window open where I can do some searching as I'm listening. So this gives you some samples of stuff of people that you might not be knowledgeable about. And the other thing that I got for him was Horror Hangover. He puts on some art shows, and also through his website, actually. I think it's McConnellArt.com. He sells pages, because he's friends with, like, the Brandon Grahams and the James Stokoes and a couple other guys. So he sells original art. He helps them sell their original artwork on his page. So definitely check that one out, especially if you're a fan of Brandon Graham stuff. I believe there's some King City stuff up for sale there. I'm pretty sure that there's some stuff from Multiple Warheads as well, and that sort of thing. So it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're really into collecting art. So he put a show together of some friends, and he called it Horror Hangover, and they were supposed to do one page, whether it was one panel or whether it was a short comic strip, focusing on the moment after a horrific event. So a lot of names that I didn't know. But he also put together this book, which I think was 100 copies. And I was lucky enough to get one where it just kind of has reproductions of all the art that was at the show. And it's a super cool look at just some good and obviously some not so good cartoonists. Some very cool pieces. Kind of dig that one. And it was another thing that he had for sale as well, where you could buy each piece. I think they were priced at $100 a piece. But this is equally excellent, because you still get a recreation of it. So there you go. That's Robin McConnell and Rick Trembles. So, as I said, I'll put links, obviously, to everybody, and search them out. Especially if you're into movies, Rick Trembles is great. If you want to hear some more about some of your favorite cartoonists, or maybe try to discover somebody you never heard of before, who knows what you want. He's got hundreds of interviews archived on inkstuds.org. It is a radio show, something that had happened before. A couple people mentioned they played it, and it's music at the beginning. Each one has music at the beginning, and because they do have to have some music content, they can't just purely have an interview format. So every episode, when you listen to it online, it'll start streaming and you'll hear music. Just give it a chance. It'll get through the song, and then you'll hear the interview start up. So, alright, so next episode is going to be Rebecca Dart. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you soon.